All right, yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to week 83 of building my own operating system, formerly known as chill kernel hacking for fun. Nice. Um, Today's topic, let me update the top text as I slowly get settled, is bare metal C++. Okay. And that's sort of not fitting in the top bar, but whatever. um, hey, Cat Flare. How are you doing today? Oh, apparently I'm... Okay. YouTube chat wasn't working. Okay. Just getting my chat windows set up. Making sure that the tweet went out correctly. Seems like it did. That's cool. Okay. So yeah, today we're going to be continuing with the bare metal C++ topic and continuing to explore some of these bare metal C++ libraries, which I'm pretty excited about. It was pretty fun last week to get some of that stuff working. Coming home today and tomorrow's school starts. Got a new class, electrical things and automation. That sounds really cool. I never took any classes like that. Electrical assembly of electric thingies. Nice. Well, good luck with the start of the school year. Guess it's that time of year again. Let's make a plan for today. Sorry, just making sure that, okay, we're live on Twitch also, cool. Let's make a plan for today. Also, I want to point out that I've made my Miro board public. And the link is, if you look, it's at offlinemark.com/whiteboard. Can I post links in my own chat? I don't think so. I think it got shadow banned. Nope. That's a bit unfortunate. So feel free to join the Miro board. You can't do anything but browse around, but you can still browse around. And I just thought it would be, I don't know, something interesting. I put the link in the top text in the top left corner, offlinemark.com/whiteboard. And you can get a pointer to it. So feel free to join me on the Miro board if you feel like it. You don't need an account or anything, and you can just kind of browse around and follow my cursor if you want. So we're at week 83. It is August 31st. I see someone has joined. The visiting visionary has joined the board. That's cool. Show cursors. So yeah. All right, let's make a plan for today. I want to try to make this Frig PR to fix the floating point issue. I'm also going to start off the break timer. So that's started off. So last week we ran into these floating point issues with Frig, and it was really stupid, like the bug that they have in their code. And so maybe we can try to fix that and submit a PR. I don't know. And then let me sorry, too many windows. Okay, so that was one thing. Second, I want to try this ETL thing. Kind of from last week, it's this embedded template library. This one. We were kind of doing our tour of all the different freestanding bare metal C++ libraries. And we got through the first two. I don't really know if we'll end up doing BSL. I'm not sure how useful it really is. But I at least want to check out ETL. So that will be the goal for today. Let's just get into it. So, okay, maybe just to recap where we are. So we had just gotten formatting with Frig to work. And apparently I have some weird commit here that changes this include. Let me open up the VS Code. What's the color? What color should we use today? All right, good color. For load. So I changed the name of this helper file to overload.hpp. So therefore test.cpp needs to be correspondingly changed. And that is a commit that can go into... probably this one. A little bit surprised that it wasn't sure. Maybe I'll delete this line. Delete unstage changes. How about now? Okay, I'm just going to amend it in here. And here, test many C++ features, right? Damn, what is the conflict? Ugh. Okay. What was that conflict? Test any C++ features. Oh, okay, just some Frig stuff. So this should be pretty easy. So we just need to add these lines up here. Wait, is that right? Oh, wait. So the difference is that we removed the overload. I think we just need to actually just get rid of this whole thing, potentially. And what's the difference is that we add the array. All right, so I got super confused. What the fuck happened? You know what, not really worth to overload it. Not really worth it right now. Okay. Cool. So let's get back. So do we build? We build and we run, and things seem to be working pretty well. We have the printing floating points from Frig, like all that stuff seems to be working, so that's good. Okay, so now what do I want to do? I want to make a PR to Frig. And the first thing I need to do is probably clone, make a, or fork it, actually. A little bit annoying. I think I might need to log into GitHub. Let me. Yeah. So I guess step one is I need to log into GitHub. I need to fork it, and then I need to work with that fork. So I'm just going to log in quickly off to the side over here. And okay. So now I can Manigarm Frig. So I'm just gonna dismiss this. So Frig's over here, and I'm gonna fork it. Okay. So just for reference, also, the change I needed to make was this. It's a really simple fix. There was just the copy-paste error. So theoretically, I have forked Frig. So now, I guess what I will do is I will... Oh shit, wait. Wait, I need the SSH thing. I will clone. Oh man, okay. Let me figure out my SSH key situation. Okay, so now we have Frig here. And it would kind of be cool to be able to apply a patch, but for the moment I'm just going to make a flex float print float format. I'm making a branch. Let me bring my chat back up. Okay. Making a branch, and then I'm just debating the actual order of things to do. So basically, I need to like get this thing building, but maybe I'll just try to get my so here's my fix, and fix float.patch. This is like a little bit weird. I have this patch file, and it uses paths. I'm going to code this actually. It's a bit weird. It uses these paths that are in my OS repo, but maybe I can just delete all of these and produce a patch that will apply to the actual upstream repo. And then, I don't know, this is like a bit off the dome here. So I've applied the patch, and that actually worked. So I've ported over the patch, And I guess I have a commit message or something. I'll just copy that text. Fix floating and double printing. This seemed like a copy paste error. Okay, so theoretically we have a commit that fixes things. Okay. And then, I mean, I could just, at a minimum, I could just submit this, but maybe it would be good to like build it before I just do that. So this project uses the Meson build system. I'm going to open a Claude session, I think. Do you trust? Read, write, execute files. What if I say no here? Oh, I have to trust it. Okay. Okay, time to say yes. Proceed. So I don't exactly know what I want to do with it, but what, like how? Sun setup builder. So it's a Meson project. Dang, sorry. Oh shit. Okay. Maybe let's just take a look at this actual code base. Let's say no. So it's a Meson project, and it's a header only library. So the only thing I can build is the tests, and that's the most interesting thing. Ideally, I would actually add some tests, but yeah, we'll see if we end up doing that. Okay, I'm just going to see if this works. Meson setup build. Meson compile. C build. Does that work? It said no work to do. Maybe I need to. How do I use this? Build tests. Okay. How do I build the tests target in this Meson project? Okay. I just want to try that. Meson compile C build tests. Is that really? No. Frig tests. I think I need to configure it. I think I need to configure the build to enable the tests target. Please read Meson.build and confirm. Okay, so let me try this. Oh, maybe you can't see anything because I have the thing all the way over here. Still not sure if that worked or not, but okay, now how do I compile the Frig tests target? Well, that looks not good. Gtest main not found. Okay, I'm just gonna maybe have Quad help me with this. Yes. I have a suspicion that it's because of the gtest main thing. Proceed. So the gtest, yeah. I think I just need to provide gtests. I know that's annoying. Okay, time to brew install Google test. It seemed to work. Okay, let me try this again. So, you know, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to make a pane about right here. Okay, I'll run the commands here. Gtest found, Mason compile build. Oh, look at that. It is compiling. Did it fail to compile? No way. Did it fail to compile because of my patch? No way. Let me go back to master. It still didn't build. Oh, okay. Okay, this is perhaps starting to exceed the amount of effort I want to spend on this. Or maybe I can just have a Quad. Try to build Frig tests and diagnose the build error. Yes. So to seize the build error, holy, what? No matching call, blah, blah, blah. All right, yeah, I think this is officially exceeding the effort that I am willing to put into this. So I'll still submit my PR, and maybe I will just say that your tests don't compile. Hey John, what's up? Happy Sunday to you too. Okay, I was trying to be a good open source citizen, but I guess that won't be for today. So I have my commit, and I have nothing to prove that it works except my own OS, which uses it to print some floating point numbers and some live streams where I've shown that this works. So what do we do? Let's, I don't know, make a PR or something. Okay. Do I have the GitHub? How does it feel not getting weighted right after? Oh man, feels bad, man. Dang, okay. Yeah, feels European. All right, time for our first break. Be right back. All right. Let's do this. So dang, wait. Oh my gosh, okay, I have a fix, float, and double printing. All right, time to just force push that real quick. Okay. I tried adding a test, but the test target doesn't compile for me, and I didn't look into it further. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm on Mac OS, although I sort of would I don't know. Mac OS, 15.3.2. Version of Google Test do I have? All right, cool. It's a great pull request. Okay, check that out. Open source contribution, maybe. Let's move on with whatever we're doing. Okay, so that happened. And let's move on with, how do I get rid of this? Some more of these template libraries and whatever. All right. So that was the first thing of the day. Next, moving on to ETL. Well, first, is there anything else I should do? I got, just to point it out, I got IntelliSense working for my headers, which is kind of cool. So we don't have squiggly lines anymore. So it's just using the compile commands.json file. But now we can jump to headers, including in these dependencies. Pretty nice. Okay, so I was interested, so we don't need this patch anymore. And technically we need this. Disable error for now. This is due to how Joss's VA args conflicts with free stand XX headers or something. Okay. So now let's check out ETL. Copy link. That's my browser. Okay. Oops, wait. All right, I'm just gonna search ETL CPP. So this was the thing I'm kind of interested in. And let's just try to use it. And maybe Claude Code can help. Do make dir ETL. ETL, dir upstream, cd upstream, git clone depth 1. Maybe just a quick look. How hard might this be? I mean, this, I think it's mostly a header only library again. Oh, interesting. They have Meson support? Okay, they do. Hey, useless. What's up? It's going pretty well. Made our open source contribution to Frig, submitted a PR earlier in the stream, and then for that bug fix from last week, and then now looking into this other library, which I'm kind of curious about. And actually the neat thing is that, I don't know, it sort of already has a CMake lists. I don't know if we will actually end up using that. Because we're not interested in building tests or anything. And this is just a like a header only library. So let's see. Okay, so okay, I think I did this kind of wrong. What I'm going to do is move upstream ETL here, get rid of upstream, move ETL upstream. I just have this like convention where I'm naming the directory with the upstream code upstream. Okay, so now I'm going to see if I can be kind of lazy with this. And can you please make the basic build adjustments to incorporate the third-party ETL library into the build, adjusting, adding a base don't fill out its CMake lists.txt file, just create one and add the necessary add subdirectory commands. Let's try that. I'm curious if I can just do that grunt work for me. Hey Ismail, what's up? welcome. Yes, I want to create this file. And then yes, that's exactly what I want it to do, yes. And I think that's kind of it actually, okay. So third party, CMake lists, and we just add this thing. And then now we can go to the ETL CMake lists. Actually, that's not what I wanted. ETL CMake lists, that text. Third party ETL CMake lists, that text. It should be this empty file. And we should be able to like sort of copy paste from, I don't know, like Frig, for example. I'm just going to do that actually. And it's going to be called ETL. And I don't know if it needs any. Yeah, ETL is this interesting project I discovered called the Embedded Template Library. And I don't know, it seems kind of good. It has a lot of these green passing boxes, so I'm going to assume that's pretty good. And there's this guy, I don't know. So just kind of wanted to try it out. It seemed to have some containers, which I might find useful. So yeah. Let me clear this out. Wait, CMake lists, ETL CMake lists. Okay. So if we look at include ETL, and then just like all these things, and just from a quick look at it, so it's using some headers, and apparently there's a mode where you can make it use the real STL if that's available. But I'm not sure, like it might require actually the full STL. We do have a partial STL, like a real C++ STL from the freestanding CXX headers, but it's not complete. Like I don't think it has functional or some of these things. So I think we're not going to use this, which just means, what else does it need? Like it needs some standard headers, it seems. And we also can provide those too. And so I think this line actually is necessary. And I think actually this CMake list is just what we need. It's for what we need, we just need to get access to these headers. So that's kind of cool. So what I'll do is just do the typical dance where I will add it here. Okay. So now let's just make, and that worked. And running it should obviously work. No, we didn't do anything. So I don't know, now we can try to do our first test, which is using an include. And time to figure out what to include. What would be a good, here's some examples. But atomic, so they have, yeah. So there's a lot of overlap between these libraries that I'm pulling in. I mean, freestanding CXX headers, Frig, and ETL have some overlaps, but they also have parts they don't like that are unique to them. What would be the easiest ETL? The coolest and most interesting part about this to me is these static containers. So no dynamic memory allocation containers. And I don't think Frig has those, and the C++ standard library definitely doesn't have them, except for like super basic stuff like std array. Okay, let's just etl dot array dot h. Okay, so let me just try to use one of these. And we get the squiggly line. That's probably because our compile commands are out of date. Ooh. Assert.h. Do we have an assert.h? No. Well, we have this shady one that is provided by Joss, but it's not like a standard thing. So, okay, so that is our first roadblock speed bump with using ETL. It seems to require, well, I can just make a commit though. Okay, the commit is add this, except I don't want a submodule, no. Going to delete the git, okay. Okay, add the code, add this, and then we can use it later. Add ETL to build. So that's a bit unfortunate. It seems like this thing algorithm.h error handler.h. Let's kind of check this out. So check out that IntelliSense. Jumping around these different headers. Actually, is it working? I don't know. Some squiggly lines here. So error handler, this seems to be but I don't want this. So here's the part where the build integration will be slightly more interesting than Frig and so. It seems that it defaults to including an error handler. Maybe. At the very least, it is trying to get this header. It's possible that this header should be in an include guard also, maybe. Because it's not very freestanding of it to require stuff like this. So I think what we need to do is wait a sec. Oh wait, but wait a sec. This is not a What is this? Is this an include guard? I thought it was a configuration at first, but this seems just to be an include guard. So that kind of is... So I think actually too much is defined. Okay. Oh, what the hell? ETL will use the STL unless no STL is defined. That's also not very freestanding of it. It defaults to trying to use the STL. So the question is, how do I pass this in the build? And I want to ask the AI to help, but I'm going to try to do it myself. Because it's going to be kind of a guess. But target compile options. How do you use this again? Private, and then you say some options. So, but wait a sec. This is a header only library though. I don't know. I literally don't know. Something like this. This is a guess. This is like very much a guess, but I'm sort of wondering if this is approximately... I need to define the symbol, and you define things with the capital D. So I wonder if that changes anything here. At the very least, maybe let's do a verbose build. No STL? Okay, so... Oh, so what's up? As anything? Or AZ anything? So that is working. We can see that this define is being included in the build, and it even seemed like it kind of worked. Actually, except no, it did not work. We are still having this problem. So it's sort of expected that this is still not working because the thing that I just did with the no STL is not related to this thing at all. But why is... Okay, so now we can see that we're sort of more appropriately setting things here. And using C++20, let's enable that. That sounds cool. Except it was already using that. Wait a sec, what? Determine compiler language support. Okay, I don't know. Never mind. We don't need this. Apparently it auto detects that somehow. Even... Oh wait, if using and blah blah blah, otherwise use this, whatever. Okay. Okay, so this, yeah. Kind of unfortunate. String.h. Error handler.h. Just to use an array. And it's already time for the second break. All right, be right back. Okay, so far I am kind of disappointed that these freestanding bare metal embedded libraries have these dependencies on, I don't know, the standard library. I was sort of hoping they'd be more contained. And what even are you using this for? Assert? Is it like call assert here? Okay, I mean this is very much a hack, but it looks like this whole thing is not being used. So what if I just comment this out? Okay. I'm just gonna hack my way through this and see how that works. If I just comment out all the needs of a okay, so now here's the part where it is relying on memcopy to be there. No idea, but apparently there's a macro that can help. Interesting. Let me assert. ETL assert, it looks like it's their internal assertion function. Maybe that's interesting. What if I defined, I'm not sure what the, you know, maybe there's documentation on this and I'm being kind of stupid for not reading it. There's like all this stuff, setup, tutorials. That's like code tutorials. Okay. No STL. ETL profile. No STL. Okay. Okay, wasn't really that helpful. Possible. Okay, this is not, yeah, not really that helpful. I was looking for more like build documentation. Like how do you even get this building? Contributing? README? I mean, they do have their own CMake build system. I have been ignoring that completely. Maybe it's worth a quick browse. What's up, Nirajan? Nice to see you. The profile thingy, I think that was just a way to sort of put these defined somewhere. I think it's basically the same thing as what I'm just doing with this line in my build system, where I just define some stuff. Okay, so he talks about all this like stuff. Okay, installing the library. So theoretically, I could try to do this, but I don't think that will solve the problems that I'm running into. Because the problem is that it no member named memcopy in the global namespace. Yeah, what's up with the string.h situation? So Joss, we like sort of weirdly have our own string.h, or which Joss just like has one. And then this, so ETL has a string.h, but it's like the C++ string thing. And hey, what's up, Krishna? Yeah, I revamped my thumbnail. Yeah, we're sort of in a transition period. I'm not exactly working on Joss so much anymore, but I'm still using the code base to basically prototype all the stuff I want to eventually have in my own operating system. And so what I've been doing is adding a bunch of third-party libraries that I find interesting, and I'm just curious to try and see if they can be used for making an operating system. So far, it seems like ETL is not the easiest to use. Wow. Okay. What? I commented out some asserts. Just double check in. I tried to simply use a single header, and I'm having problems because the library is trying to access some of these headers. This is interesting. Can I open this like this? Whoa, that's cool. It's saying not found with angled. Use quotes instead. Is that no way? Is that right? Does that fix anything? There's no assert. Okay, there's only the weird assert.h. But why I'm not using... I am not understanding why this is not highlighted correctly. CMake. ETL. No ETL, right? I think I should not be building with parallelism. That's making these error messages a bit harder to read. I'm also just going to clear out the build entirely. I slightly not trusting things. Okay, a nice non-parallel build. And it's having all these problems. What's up, Plebish? Nice to see you. Oh, dang, I missed Twitch chat. What's up, Parkarqua? Poor? Hey. So it's trying to use wait a sec, okay, something is not working correctly here because it seems like VS Code is not aware of this define or something. Do I have to do equals 1? Or can I look at my compile commands? So it's pretty obvious. You can see here that ETL no STL is being passed. So I thought VS Code is configured appropriately. Okay. So there's some problems here. There's like, apparently all these files are, it's having trouble finding all these files. Do I even have a math.h though? I don't even think I have one. So what's gonna happen if I try to do this? Oops. Weirdly, yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm just trying stuff out. And so it's complaining about not being able to find math.h. But now this is a weird recursive like loop where a file is including itself, I think. So I don't think that's actually correct. So then there's all these errors. Yeah, this is hard. I was really hoping, based off of the name embedded template library, that this would be super standalone, really easy to integrate. But like, what is up with this? 2.2. Error too long. Nice one. But here's the thing is, okay, that's weird. It's trying to use, somehow that is resolving to the host memcopy, which is bad. in the global. The thing that's strange about this error, what's up NSG? It's saying no member named memcopy in the global namespace. But I don't know if that's true. I feel like we actually do. Like our string.h has a bunch of these things. Like you need memcopy, it should be right here in the global namespace. Time to write your own libraries. Dang, yeah. I was trying to avoid that. I don't expect this to work. This is a bit of a weird Hail Mary, but so base. I did this kind of weird thing where I made this library called base kernel lib that has some of these, mostly for string.c. These were files that were included in JOS both from the kernel and from user space. So they are these very generic files that don't rely on any specific details about like where they're executing. They're super generic. So I brought them out into their own library. And the idea is maybe it should, like, does this thing need to depend on this to get the string.c? I don't know. I think that'll be kind of weird. What I actually kind of want to do, I'm going to clear this out again. Why did that not work? Okay. What? Okay, sort of just want to build a very specific file. Okay, my idea was to try to pinpoint the error. So the error is coming from trying to build, this is going to be like slightly slow. The test.cpp file is the specific file okay, and here is this thing. So I'm just curious, can I build a specific file like this? Time to maybe ask. In CMake, I want to build a specific .o translation unit. How can I do that? Pretty sure that's exactly what I did and it didn't work. You need to cd into B first. String.h doesn't have the extern C. Interesting. And it's pretty interesting. So, Publish, this is Claude code. So here's NSG, they're saying, so maybe I need the extern C to be around these things. That is an interesting idea. What's the, no, member. It's building this thing and it's having, I think I need to see the full command line. That's what I need to see. Oh, wow. How is it time for another break already? All right, be right back. Yeah, that's true. I always do forget about this. The name mangling things. And I'm wondering, yeah, so we tried this once before. So here's a good example. Okay, why is this so we have test.h. So here's how it looks, yeah. Loop is being called from C, and it's in C++, implemented in C++. I don't know, it's worth it, but okay, first things first, let me just see these. Let me do a verbose build and just look at what is the command line being run, just so we have clarity on what the include paths are and whatnot. So this is what it looks like. Okay. So first things first. So wait, okay, first things first. We're compiling test.cpp with clang++. And it's producing this file. And we're passing all these include paths, including base/include, which is, so let's just check out. So we have base include. Oh, okay. So in the way I did it, I have this extra base thing, and string.h is in there, and actually that's the only thing that's in there. Kind of weird. Okay. So that would mean that string.h is not in, yeah. So there's no longer a concept of just like a global. The reason I did that weird base thing is because it's a common convention in, I don't know, in like C++ programming or whatever, where if you have that extra base directory, it lets you do base/string.h instead of just like string.h, and it sort of lets you namespace your includes, and that's exactly what these libraries are doing here. And it just lets you have some namespacing to organize your includes. And so that's why I did it like that. But the consequence is that there's no longer a string.h that's just globally available. And for the case of string, yeah. So like a way I could try to fix this is kind of dumb, but Just curious, base, who is using base.string? Okay, everyone in JAWS is using base.string.h. Just as like a weird hack, I'm going to copy this into the other directory. So now we have this weird thing where there's string.h in two places. It's in the global namespace, but it's also sort of like in this base thing. And it would be interesting to see if ETL can find things now, or maybe NSG is right and that's not enough, and we still need to add these include like extern C things. Let's try that again. So it seems like that did not help at all. So it would seem like maybe NSG is right, which makes sense. So now it's time to go into here. And I don't know, we're gonna add this like right here maybe. And here. So now we have our C++ wrapper things around these functions. And the consequence of that is that when we're compiling this translation unit, all these header files are going to get like injected and smushed together into this big mess that's going to be interpreted by a C++ compiler. And formerly, we did not have these things. So all these function symbols, I guess, would be subject to C++ mangling. But now, with this thing, we're going to suppress that and make it use C mangling. And so I don't know. Let's just try it. Okay, that did not work. Okay, dang. I can describe the platform and the file names without changing the names. I have to break everything. Okay. Well, I ran out of my ability to solve this, so the only option is to ask Claude and see if it can do this. Okay, what do I say? Currently, the kernel is not building because test.cpp doesn't build. I tried to include etl.array.h to try out this new ETL library, but it seems like ETL, I don't know. Can you look at the compiler error and diagnose the problems? So, I mean, the problems are at least no cd into b and then run make-j. Okay. Sorry, Enda. Yeah, sort of exceeding how much time I want to spend. I also don't. Wait a sec. Oh, what? ETL is trying to call these ETL things, but ETL doesn't provide them? Okay, I am super confused. All right. I don't know if this is going to work, because I don't know, like, if we do this, we're going to go back to using the, like, having it use the STL, which I think is going to not work because our STL doesn't have enough. But let's let Claude cook. Yes. What should I stage / make tiny commits for? I'm just going to do it random. You know what? I'm just gonna commit temp. All right, just to stash that state of things. Okay, Claude, cook, do your thing. Okay, now try to build it again. Yes. Okay, so, okay, I don't know. Something about that STL thing. Okay. Please see base. I do have string.h available. Oh wait, did I do that stupidly wrong? Yeah, you're totally right. That was stupid. Yeah, you're right. Wait, what the hell? So thank you for the catch. That's kind of a dumb mistake. Okay. Okay. So NSG wins the award. Or wait a sec, wait. Wait, what? Am I seeing this right? Did I make another mistake? So we still have this problem though. Okay, this is getting messy. What's up with the ink? This ink. I think that's just straight up wrong. But there is no ink string.h in the OS. String h is in that 8 is in base.include. What? But test.pp doesn't directly depend on anything in string.h. Somewhere in ETL does. So shouldn't it be enough that ETL has that kind of include? Okay, this, oh. Okay. Yes. This is, okay, this is kind of weird. Does that matter? Yes. Whoa. So that, I just want to point out, that was actually very interesting. In one of the past streams, we were talking about how quotes and brackets are mostly a stylistic thing. But this was actually a real difference in the build. And wait, how does the build even look now? So, string.h. So we still have some of these lingering errors. Memchar, do I even have mem? That's the problem. I don't have memchar. What does memchar even do? Locate byte in a byte string. It's the first occurrence of C. All right. So if I had that, then some of these things would get fixed. And as tempting as it would be to try to write that, I mean, I sort of don't want to do that at the moment. Kind of like stir. Okay, the first occurrence of C. Just a simple formula. All right, fuck it. All right. Memchar. All right. It's time for the real coding hours. Okay. Dang, what the hell? Okay. So void memchar. Here's the first occurrence of C or null. if no such byte exists within n bytes. Okay, just gonna start off real easy. Return null. Okay. And all right, so we're just going to, I'm just going to make a cursor, cur equals s, and while n first n bytes. So so what if we hit the end of the string though? So it's like while so while we have a character and we have the n, if cur equals c, return cur. Otherwise, cur plus plus and minus minus. Oh wait. No, terminate. Yeah, you're right. You are right. This is not it. It would be easier. So all we're doing, yeah, wait a sec. So, no, yeah, now that I understand this a little bit better, yeah, okay. 4, 5, I equals 0, I less than n, plus. And then just trying to check if sort of want to, yeah, I don't know. If mem n equals c, return n. It's like, and maybe this is not even necessary because, I don't know, you're not supposed to call it with a null pointer anyway. Let me just think about this. So let's say you pass in, I don't know, what are some test cases we can run through? So let's say you pass in a null pointer. Let's say you pass in a pointer. Okay, so null bytes don't matter. So it's just raw. Wait, in string s? I just find it confusing that it says the word string. Okay. So we get our pointer to the beginning of the string, and we're not caring about anything about null terminators. So let's say let's say we pass n equals 2 bytes, right? Let's say n equals 2 bytes, and then b is here. So s points here, n is equal to 2. All right. Mem points at the start of the string. I is less than n. So check the first character. If mem n is equal to c, return that. That's not the case. Bump I plus 1, I is now equal to 1. Mem equal to, and we're looking for b. This is not it. And then I becomes 2, and then I couldn't find it, so it returns null pointer. Okay, cool. Let's say b is the first one. So I is equal to 0, I is less than 2, mem c equals b, mem 0 equals b, return this thing, okay. All right, nerve-wracking memchar coding. So now the question is, okay. Good. So that like kind of fixed it. And oh dang, I'm gonna let Claude Code continue. Okay, I added memchar. Please continue. Whoa. Wait, dang. Mem find? Sure. All right. I'm just gonna copy this off to the side. And accept the recommendation. Okay, so now it's generating some real code for us. ctype.h. All right, we are solidly in vibe coding territory now, but okay. Oh. Just gonna save this one too. Okay, because maybe we just want to use that one instead, but whatever. Okay, so now there's all these bool issues, and I'm curious what it's going to do with that. Okay, so now certain things need to get like if deft away. Oh. Okay. Okay. Wait, what are you doing? You need to cd into b and run make. I like forgot how to build it, I think. Where are you? From the project root, cd into b and run make j. All right, there's this weird mix-up where I'm going to kill the palm tree just to keep going. What's up, Kalia? Okay, taking one step back, this is messy. This is very messy. There's still all sorts of problems. And yeah, and this is requiring a lot of effort to get this working, actually. So it sort of makes me question whether it's really worth it, but needs to be in the b dirt for running make dash j. Claude is really forgetting things, it seems. All right, I'm just gonna, all right. Okay, so now this weird thing where that's being redefined from JOS. ETL has too many dependencies for a freestanding kernel environment. This is crazy. Okay, what I'm going to propose is it's interesting to look through these errors to understand what this ETL thing actually needs, but it's sort of seeming like kind of too many things for us. So what's up with this O string though? Like, but that's only a problem because it says we're using STL. And what I was trying to do is not use the STL. So I'm going to go and add that line back. I'm going to drop this. And so I was kind of suspicious about that. Like, we don't want it to be depending on the STL. So now that's back in there. So that O stream thing went away, but these are all sort of a similar problem. No, it's somehow trying to use its internal version of this. But it can't find it. And I wonder if it's... What? Okay, I don't know what's going on, but... Just to, I don't know, be explicit, I'll pass both of these things maybe. It's also possible I'm passing things just wrong. Or it's... Or do I need this profile thing? Maybe I'll try the profile thing. I sort of want to try to get this working, but this is quite a lot of effort. No, I never had this working. This was just an attempt to try to get this working, and I'm kind of failing to do so. I'm slightly not convinced I'm doing this right. The no STL macro. This is pre-success. It's really kind of freaking me out that maybe I need to reload VS Code or something. Like, it sort of seems like my changes are not having an effect. Back to here. Okay. Maybe this is an interesting test. So basically what's very weird right now is there are compiler errors about code that seems to be disabled. It seems to be disabled because in my text editor, it's muted. I could have sworn. So compile commands .json. It's like this b/compile commands.json file. Pretty sure that's right. And if I delete that file, which I just did, and rebuild everything all over again. I mean, we can even look at it and we can see all these things that I'm doing, and it really does seem to be accurate. Yeah, it's just sort of like VS Code is kind of a weird idea to try. So what if I just do, what if I just really just like hard code it? But wait, it's like, how do I undef? Define STL. Okay. This is how you do that, right? Undef? You undef things? Okay. I'm just going to put this right in the code. And it's going to happen above everything in the ETL world. Okay, let's just follow the problem. So it's apparently trying to use ETL just to really be. I'm just gonna insert a weird compile error just to verify. Things out. Am I making some other crazy mistake? So I'm not seeing my weird compile error there actually. What about this one? Okay, there we go. So maybe I just missed it. So set some cues. Right. Okay, so indeed it is trying to build this thing, which is what we suspected, even though it's kind of muted out. And this ETL fill thing, it's probably in the algorithm. And that's what this thing should be. I wonder, okay, I sort of am suspicious. I did a few things that I think were kind of sketchy. So, I mean, so we had this, we did our string stuff, we did this thing, we did this thing. Okay, these changes are very suspect. And I'm kind of inclined to drop them. Because over here we saw that we needed to add this back to the angle bracket. In memory, at least. So, I mean, so maybe not all of them. But okay, maybe just an algorithm. I'm going to drop this. So now an algorithm, we're back to using the angle brackets, which I don't know if that should really matter. It's recompiling so much stuff. I don't know what happened, but a lot of the errors went away. Was it really because of this weird thing? No way. That would be so strange. Okay. But kind of. Now it's having trouble finding everything. But if I make this use brackets again, it seems to fix things. So, okay. That's weird. Dude, my head is exploding. See, this has been one of the toughest streams in a while. Okay. Okay, so now this is actually good. Wait a sec. We are super close to getting it working. The only problem is a redefinition of initializer list. Wow, and this is just some kind of conflict between ETL and the freestanding CXX headers. This is really interesting. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a quick note. Something is super wrong. Why is my editor so wrong about the highlighting about defines ETL no STL or whatever? That is a huge red flag. because it seems like ETL is defining, okay, wait a sec. So we're using it in no STL mode. That has been the goal this entire time. And it seems like in no STL mode, it defines its own versions of a couple core things in the STD namespace, which generally you're not supposed to do, but it's understandable why they would do it if they think there's no STL available. There might be specific reasons to do this. I would love to disable this file. But actually that's like the only thing remaining. But wait because we actually do, wait a sec, okay, this is confusing. We provide a partial STL with the freestanding CSS headers. ETL is configured to not really try to use it, to not use it actually, because it's not complete, it's a partial one. So we tell ETL don't use the STL. Act as if there was no STL. That causes ETL to create its own std initializer list, std begin, and std end. Those actually happen to conflict with the ones that are in the freestanding CSS headers. And I think all we need to do is make it not try to generate those versions. That's my interpretation of what these things mean, and there are varying levels of hacks about how we can solve this potentially. Where does this end? All right. What if we undefine that? Also, is this documented somewhere? Probably not. So it would be so great if we could just have it not try to like include this code in the build. Maybe this is how we do it. Oh, yo, wait, did that work? No. No. All right, we might have to get even uglier. So list.h. Okay, so this file is widely included all over the place. Okay, you want to see the actual worst way to do this? Let's just delete the code. Because it seems like this is not taking effect for some reason. So you know what I'd be curious about? Can I run this command line, but do it? How to run a clang command and only have it run the pre-process. I think it's capital E. Because I would love to see a bit more specifically how. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do capital E. We're gonna keep the entire command line the same. We're just going to pass this thing and maybe pipe to less. Okay, so now we're in this incredible mess of I mean, this might be so messy that we can't even make sense of it, but the goal was to see, okay, what is going on here? Is there code here or not? And I'm going to look for this text in this big dump. Okay. So we're after the preprocessor, so the comments are gone, but although I don't know what these comments really mean, but it's like a bit hard to tell if we're in freestanding CXX headers. Okay, this is a bit much. Now we're in all sorts of. Okay, here we are. So I think earlier we were looking at freestanding CXX headers. Now in this part we are macro heaven. Yeah, we have died and gone to macro heaven. Okay, I think this little hint helps us understand what is what kind of. So it would really seem. Also, what's included by this file? All it includes is platform.h, which I think doesn't exist. It tries to, or does it? Okay, this is where I don't know, whatever. Wait a sec. Okay. I don't know. It would really seem like this stuff is still being included, even though I've tried. I'm just gonna ask Claude. Oh, please look at how. Why is my copy paste not working? Is used in ETL. My build is failing because it is redefining std initializer list. How can I force to be false so it doesn't include ETL's own version of std initializer list in the build? Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Wait. Found 0 lines. What? This should absolutely be text. It should be able to find. All right, while it's. All right, well, should I interrupt it? I just want to try deleting all that code in the file and seeing if things work. Okay, you can stop now. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to if 0. All right, if 0 is the most powerful way to just get code to not be used, I think. So, and that worked, I think. Okay, so now what? Spent like 2 hours trying to get this thing to compile. And so I guess we don't need this anymore. And truly, what about these things? Like the CMake file should already be taking care of that. Okay, whatever. Spent a million years a million years trying to, what's up, Raju? Get that to compile. And it compiled because the only remaining blocker was the fact that ETL was declaring some std initializer list, std begin, std end, which was conflicting with freestanding C XX headers. And we just effectively deleted those from ETL because we already have them in freestanding C XX headers. I don't know, what does that mean? Can we use stuff in ETL now? Like, how do we, like, let's use an ETL array. Which is, again, probably the most boring thing we could use because this is now our third array in the code base. We have std array, frig array, and ETL array. Actually, whatever, I'll just go with this. For auto each ETL array. Tempted to use, let's go with the frig format. So how does this work? You call frig format with frig fmt and the sync. And then you say, char, and I forget if it does the new line already. Okay, so we got some stuff there, except we're forgetting the most important part, the each. It is a little bit weird to print like this. ETL tests. I can write a helper though. Okay. Now, okay. Thanks, Ali. ETL test, there we go. Okay, we do need the new line. Okay. Okay, good. This thing is missing a new line. Is there anything more interesting we can do to test this in the last couple minutes of the stream? And let's just try to use something more interesting than an array. Fixed capacity string classes. Okay, so maybe this is actually kind of interesting because frig has a string.hpp freestanding CXX headers does not have its own string. It only has a string view. And the thing with frig's string is I don't think it's a static. I think it, at least I thought it, wait, what am I looking at? This is string view. I need basic string. Frig's string is a dynamic string. You can see how it requires an allocator. So that is actually a key difference. ETL's strings are fixed capacity, I call them static strings. And so they don't allocate memory dynamically. It's sort of like conceptually the same thing, or similar to like how the relationship between std vector and std array, kind of. Frig's string and regular std string are like std vector, and then ETL string is like std array, kind of. Anyway, let's just try to use it. So we're going to, I've actually never used a type like this really before. But actually, before we get too excited, it's possible there are just going to be string.h other compiler errors when we try to include string.h, which would be really sad, and that seems to be exactly the case. And okay. stdlib.h, which also totally doesn't work. Okay, so that's unfortunate, and seems like more work is needed to get this working for other types of things. What is this? Okay, wait a sec. So I also had all those extremely sus changes here, which I actually think are really screwing things up. And I think I want to drop these too. I changed the math things to use these two things. I think I need to drop these also. And it actually, I'm not sure that even helped. That gets us back to here. Hey, all day. No template found for numeric. Okay, stupid idea. Do I even need this math thing? It sort of seemed like I didn't. Cannot combine. Okay, this is weird. So now this is complaining. Type diff requires a name. I'm gonna ask. I just think I might be able to. What is this error? Because it's sort of like, it sort of feels like we're close. Okay, go for it. Okay. And this is the final thing. What is stood? Okay. Oops. What uses stdlib.hin? Just curious. Can we just like comment it? Oh, interesting. Stdlib has all these weird. Wait, what? What? No, I mean, okay, interesting. That's so it's actually no, stop. And that worked. Oh my gosh. That compiles now. What were we even trying to, like, why was this file in there if it's not used? Breaks. Okay. So now we're compiling with ETL string, and I'm going to make a string that has a 32-byte buffer. My string. Does this compile? That seemed to compile. What can one do with a string? You can get its size and stuff. You can append strings. Let's just try to do a string append. My string to and then how do I print out a string? I mean, the simplest way is to use the .data probably, but that prints a pointer. ETL string. Look at that. That worked. I mean, it returns a char pointer type. And so Frig format knows how to print that out. Wow, okay, that was incredibly painful and hard, but it seems like we have a working partial support for using ETL, although it required some significant hacks. But we can at least kind of use some things from it, it seems. And maybe that will be useful in the future. I kind of hope so. All right, cool. I think that's going to be it for today's stream. Thank you to everyone that checked it out. I'm going to self-promote myself as usual. It's possible there will be more trouble for other headers. Yeah, but it's been kind of possible to work through them. So I don't know. But overall, my impression, ETL was much harder to integrate than I thought. Still not perfect. Frig was super easy. But kind of got it sort of working, so we'll see. All right, y'all. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Peace.